Hey everybody, this is Rick Thiessen. Welcome to Pastor. Have you seen this? Our little acronym is FIST, PHYST, where we just comment on internet content that you send us. And maybe this stuff has something to do with the Bible, a question about God or Christianity, and we just comment. And I haven't seen any of this, so just a little warning that I've got no sort of warm up to this. Is going to be a totally cold take on the internet content that you send us. And hopefully we all get enlightened and you can start a conversation. You just want to like and subscribe or comment, and that would be awesome. By the way, if you want to send your own content to us, we'd be happy to review it. Send it to right here, this address right here, social@ac3.org. And so let's comment on this. Crazy preach.
Have you ever heard anyone say that hell is separation from God?
I have. I've said that.
That's not true.
Oh.
You know how I know that hell is not separation from God? Because of this verse. Revelation chapter 14, verse 10. Let me tell you what it said again. And he, meaning anyone that's not saved, and particularly anyone that takes the mark during the tribulation, and he shall be tormented, listen, with fire and brimstone. Where? In the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. That's Jesus. Folks need to realize that it is separation from God in the sense that it's separation from His grace.
Yeah.
It's separation from God's mercy. But it's the actual presence of God and His justice that fuels the fire of hell. Have you ever heard anyone say that hell...
So, so of course he doesn't mean it when he says, hell isn't separation from God. He says yes, but he's trying to create subtlety to our understanding. Okay, so I get it. So, obviously, yes, to be not saved and under grace is to basically be condemned for one's own sin, and that's the definition of hell. And so what he's saying is not only he's imagining that when we think separation from God, that there is no that God isn't that doesn't have anything to do with hell. And I guess there's an important correction there, because we often do say things like hell is the absence of God. But see, I think we're justified in framing it that way, because 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 7, which says that those who are the reprobate are shut out from the presence of God. So I think we have some competing subtlety about the biblical description of the state of the reprobate here. What he's saying is that it's God who fuels the justice of hell. Of course, hell is created by God. So and if God's omnipresent, then I don't think that we can sort of imagine that that God doesn't know where hell is, kind of thing, or that His presence isn't imminent everywhere in all reality, because that's, I think, part of the definition of God. God is that greatest of all possible beings. He is omnipresent. So I agree with him to that extent. But as hell is often described as a sort of self-chosen fate, that it is specifically about a person shutting out the presence of God, and that is the choice that they've made. So yeah, I guess I'm going to compete with this whole description of hell in Revelation 14:15 in the presence of the holy angels and that sort of thing, with what Paul will say in 2 Thessalonians. And we have to resolve that, don't we? Shut out from the presence of God, and yet in the they are in hell in the presence of the holy angels. So I think the best way to resolve it is just to imagine that hell is a judgment that God has specifically made, and He didn't make it for us. The Bible says He made it for the devil and his angels, but the reprobate will find the same fate. And so I guess that's probably the only sense in which I would imagine that that hell is experienced in the presence of God. Let's put it that way. Because you can't do anything in the entire universe outside of the presence of God. So let's say it like that. So yeah, those are my rambling thoughts about that particular bit of content, trying to create some subtlety about our understanding of hell. I'm not sure what that adds to the conversation. Um, what does that add to the conversation? I don't know. Like so anyhow, yeah, we should probably think subtly about the afterlife and about the state of the damned. I think that's important. Um, so I think that the main idea is still communicated to us in Second Thessalonians 1, which is that the ultimate reality of what hell is, when you put all of the metaphors about fire, darkness, the place outside, the place of exclusion, all that stuff, put all those metaphors into one box. The primary abiding idea is that we are separated from the presence of God. So that's where I'm standing. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you here next time on Pastor. Have you seen this?